What is going on, everybody? This is Sergey from MMA Soap Opera, cause that's what it is. I hope you all had a great week, and I think that it's time that we start talking about UFC 309, which is of course Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones. I would like to share my thoughts on this particular matchup, but also I would like to discuss where does Tom Aspinall lay in all this. But before we do any of that, guys, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And with that out of the way, let's jump into today's video. So, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. I gotta be honest, this fight has been haunting me for quite a while. I know that a lot of people are not happy with this matchup, but to be honest, I'm actually kind of glad that we're gonna get it. The thing is that this is obviously a really good legacy matchup for us fans. And in my opinion, the only actual issue is just the timing of it, right? Stipe, he's most likely over the hill already. And if we listen to Jon Jones in all the latest interviews, it really does seem like he really wants this matchup just purely because of the name value. It really doesn't seem like he wants to fight the best fighters anymore. I actually think that Stipe deserves the match. Even though his last fight was almost 4 years ago, of course, against Francis Ngannou. That was a championship fight. He was a champion and he lost his belt in that fight. I'm not trying to say that Stipe necessarily deserves a rematch for the belt, but I do believe that this is the legacy matchup that he actually deserves. Just in my opinion, if you look at the previous generation of the fighters, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic is a really good matchup. And actually, if you think about it, this is one of the very last legacy matchups that is left in UFC right now. I'm saying that, of course, because the new generation and the new era of MMA is here with the fighters like Tom Aspinall, Ilia Topuria, Khamzat Chimaev, and of course Shavkat Rakhmonov. Stipe has been talking a little bit about the possibilities after this fight in case he would win, and he sounded like he's kind of open to another matchups, for example against Tom. But again, that's in case if he would win, which is kind of unlikely in my opinion. But I do actually respect that about him. He's just not afraid to compete with the young talents. But also, as Islam Makhachev would say,
brother, he lose in UFC 7 times, brother. He's not gonna upset if he lose one more time.
Islam, how long?
People finish him 7 times, brother. UFC, some guys.
However, totally different story with Jon Jones. I actually kind of hate how protective he is of his legacy. In my personal opinion, even if he would lose against Tom Aspinall, he would still be considered by most of the people as a GOAT. Certainly by Dana White. And yeah, like, who cares that at the end of his career he would get one loss? Like, his resume is ridiculous anyways. But the fact that he's talking about potentially fighting Alex Pereira instead, that is just straight up ignorant. Like, how can you talk about Alex Pereira when you have a defending interim heavyweight champion in the division? An active heavyweight interim champion that has defended the interim belt. Like I said, that's just straight up ignorant. Jon Jones is saying that Alex Pereira is a bigger name than Tom Aspinall. And probably no one can argue that. But in that case, if you are so concerned about these legacy matchups, give up your belt. Stop holding up the division and then go and have your legacy worthy fights. Go and fight Alex Pereira, go and talk to some Middle Eastern sheikh and have him solve the situation with the Francis Ngannou. Of course, everyone would like to see the Francis Ngannou Jon Jones fight. That would be a really great legacy fight as well. I'm sure that a little bit of Middle Eastern chin could entice Dana White. But just stop holding up the division and let the rightful contender in Tom Aspinall step up and take what is his, which is of course a belt or at least a chance to fight for it. Then when it comes to Tom Aspinall, here's what I think. In my opinion, the wait is basically over. I think that regardless of the outcome of Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones fight, he will soon become a heavyweight champion anyways. Well, because why? Like, realistically, let's look at it. Stipe, he's about to retire. I just don't see Stipe Miocic winning the fight against Jon Jones. And the same with Jon Jones. He doesn't want to gamble his legendary streak with the young killer like Tom Aspinall. So I think that there is a possibility that UFC will straight up upgrade Tom Aspinall to the heavyweight champion, or at the very least, he will fight for the championship belt. So realistically speaking, if we would like look at the timeline, maybe in the first quarter of 2025, we could see Tom Aspinall back in the octagon, and he would finally get the chance to take what is his. However, the problem, in my opinion, is the potential future matchups for Tom. Like, if we look at his fight history, he almost cleaned up the whole division already. In December on UFC 310, we're getting Volkov versus Cyril Gane 2 fight, so that seems like an obvious contender match for him. And I think it would be great to see Tom Aspinall against one of the two. Personally, I would prefer Cyril Gane, but of course, if Volkov defeats him, he's gonna be the undeniable contender. Then, I would actually love to see Tom Aspinall against Alex Pereira as well. Was it during the last match of Alex Pereira that Tom Aspinall was standing in the first row and was kind of eyeing Alex? But apart from fighting the winner of Cyril Gane and Volkov fight and Alex Pereira, it's like it's crickets. So yeah, man, Tom Aspinall already did so much great work in the heavyweight division, and really does seem like there are only some leftovers left for him to eat in there, which I think that he would certainly do. Alright, but if we look at the rest of the UFC 309 card, I think that there's a bunch of other really exciting matchups. Obviously Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler too. Oh yeah, I really hope that the rumors are not true and that Charles Oliveira is not injured and has no health issues. Like, can you imagine that this fight would get cancelled for Michael Chandler? That would suck. Of course, after all the BS drama with Conor McGregor that he went through.
Oh, stop.
I would feel really bad for that guy. Oh yeah, then we have Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig fight. That's gonna be a really good one. I think that's gonna be like a first really proper test for Bo Nickel. And also against a fighter with a real good name, so good for Bo. Then we'll also see fighters like Vivian Arcujo, Jonathan Martinez, Jim fucking Miller. And then, for example, Marcin Tybura. I guess I'm also gonna mention Chris Weidman. He's also gonna be on UFC 310. But I'm still mad at him after all the BS talk, after he won his last fight with the triple, quadruple eye poked against Silva. So yeah, I'm still kinda semi-boycotting him. That really pissed me off. But otherwise, man, UFC 309 looks really good. So let's hope that this card is gonna deliver. Alright, so what do you guys think about UFC 309? Are you excited about it? And also, if you forget Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones, who do you think makes sense for Tom Aspinall? Is it only the winner of Volkov and Gane fight? And then Alex Pereira, of course, do you think that that fight would be exciting? But like, what's next afterwards? Is there anyone else you would like to see him against? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really curious about that. And since you are gonna be there, make sure to also hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. This is it for today, guys. I hope you all have a great weekend ahead. This is Sergey from MMA Soap Opera, cause that's what it is.